Normally, a strong economy like this, lower taxes, less regulation would benefit Republicans. In this case, it's not necessarily happening as such. You've got a very motivated voters around the country. Over 20 million voters have already cast their ballots early, that is, for candidates around the country. That's a big number. I think almost twice as many as in the last election cycle. And then what you've got is the president has made an issue of border security, of course, and then a lot of Americans are concerned about health care. And so that's driving the picture. I mean, Democrats right now are poised to take back the House. All the polling data I've seen shows that they have almost a better than 80% chance of regaining control of the House of Representatives. On the Senate side, it's going to be a lot tougher. Democrats would have to have a perfect storm. They'd have to keep everything they have, plus win in a few places where they aren't expected to win.
Mark,
and so it's tougher on the Senate side.
We've seen 80% chances before, Joe, right?
We have.
We have seen that.
We have.
Let me just ask you to critique then the president's approach to make immigration and border security the driving issue that he is focused on when he's got such a good economic story to tell. Is that tactically an error if the result is going to be an 80% chance that the Democrats take the House?
Well, it's not the House picture is not all on the president, of course, but clearly the president is very strategic. He's looking at those border states. Look at all those important elections going on in Arizona, Texas, in the South. There are a lot of important elections going on for the U.S. Senate. And the president is looking to drive his base out to vote. He wants them to be revved up, and he wants them to show up at the polls to vote, because when they do so, it means that Republicans are likely to win.
Mark, these are good numbers, right? 250, and the underlying growth rate of the job market should be somewhere between 70 and 100,000. We're doing double that. We're bringing people back in from the sidelines. Is there anything in this data and in the economic data that you see that might give the natural Democratic constituency pause in coming out in the polls for Democrats?
Well, if you look at the entire economic picture, of course, number one, the job growth is a continuation of what was happening under President Obama. It's a continuation of a trend of improvement. Number two, the tax cut has not benefited the average American. The benefits were skewed to the top 10%, and therefore income inequality continues to get worse. Why? Even though there's wage growth, it's not as fast as, if you will, price increases and inflation increases. So for the average American, that pocketbook is still under stress and indeed under pressure.
Thirdly, actually, Mark,
do the numbers say that?
We are doing better than inflation, I would point out. But I would just
not the long-term trend, though.
Agreed.
You're playing catch-up.
It's been running below.
You're playing catch-up.
But people don't care who's responsible. I think at least they know that this guy's not messing it up, right?
Yeah,
look, one side says it's all him, and the other guy says it's all the other guy. But people don't care about that.
People have factored that in. This election is more about gut. It's more about the direction of the country. And it also is interesting that the president is focusing on attacking immigrants, dividing the country, pushing a continued message of somehow that there's a great big threat on the border as his primary message. So what's the effect of that? Does it animate his base? It also drives out the Democratic base. It also stimulates turnout in opposition to that agenda. So to some extent, that message may be negating any advantage. This is not 2016. This is 2018. And there are a lot of voters out there with buyer's remorse. They don't like the direction of the country. They don't like the rhetoric. They don't like the division. And they expect the chief executive officer of the country, in fact, to lead in a different way.